So let's go.
Governor, we can start over here with Christine.
Great. Christine.
Okay, so I guess many of us want to know about Syria, basically. There are a lot of governors out there, more than a couple dozen, that are saying, you know what, it's not even worth the risk, even if it's a small one. What would you tell them?
Well, I think it's very important once the federal authorities have vetted refugees that we welcome them with open arms. I see Oregon as a state of opportunity, and we want to make sure that the door is open. The door of opportunity is open to all refugees, regardless of where they come from.
And by Monday, a lot of these governors had already spoken out, but it took you a little longer. Why is that?
Great question. In fact, the law is pretty clear that the states don't have the authority to act independently in this arena or refuse refugees. I wanted to make sure that no policies had been changed before I spoke out. We were briefed by the White House on Monday afternoon, had an opportunity to talk with our State Department of Human Services as well, and learned that in fact nothing had changed, and that Oregon will continue to welcome refugees with open arms as long as they are vetted by the federal government.
And one more quick question. If there are, changes in Congress, if Congress does take action, will Oregon's stance remain the same?
We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Thank you.
And safety, a big issue. What do you want to tell the people of Oregon about their safety by allowing the refugees to come here?
Well, it's my understanding that numerous federal agencies and processes vet these refugees. We have refugees coming in from all over the world, and as long as they have been thoroughly vetted by the federal authorities, we will welcome them. Oregon is opening the doors of opportunity and will continue to open the doors of opportunity to refugees seeking asylum.
And one more question, resources, another big issue. Will this strain the state's resources by allowing them to come here?
We have received support from the private sector as well. I'm confident that Oregon can meet the need of the incoming refugees.
Do you expect a greater number of refugees to be coming to Oregon based on what the other governors have said?
My understanding is that the refugees coming from Syria are very, very small. So I am confident that we have the resources to meet the needs of these families.
Chris?
What would you say to political activists in Oregon in light of the recent Department of Justice revelations?
I would say it's really important that folks speak out, that we continue to be vigilant. I think the Attorney General has taken the appropriate action. Clearly, there needs to be a level of education and training that needs to happen.
Taylor?
The Senate Environment Committee just unveiled a plan to propose a cap and trade program. What do you think of that idea?
Well, there was legislation introduced during the last session. I think it was House Bill 3470. I was certainly supportive of the concepts. I know that folks are considering introducing the legislation in February. Obviously, before it gets to my desk, it needs 16 votes in the Senate and 31 votes in the House. We will continue to do everything we can in Oregon to make sure that we have the tools that we need to tackle changing global climate.
Have you landed on a number for minimum wage? You said you supported action from the legislature.
I am open. I have not landed on a number. I certainly think it's really important that folks in the metropolitan area be able to meet the increased costs of living. For example, two-bedroom apartment, mom and two kids, cost on an average across the state $864. You need to be working 70 hours a week if you're a single parent with two kids, or you need to be paid $16.61 an hour in order to pay for that apartment. So it is clear that we need to increase the minimum wage. We had 20,000 children alone in the state of Oregon in our public school system that were homeless last year. It is very clear that we need to increase the minimum wage. In terms of level, we are working on reaching a resolution that will meet the needs of the entire state, as well as, frankly, make sure that we don't hurt our thriving small businesses in our rural communities.
Public.
Ian?
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Senate Republicans called on Matt Garrett to resign for the second time today. They produced emails that show the carbon reduction number, that he doubted that carbon reduction number that was presented to the legislative committee. He shared it with Margie Hoffman, your former energy policy advisor. Are you going to ask Matt Garrett to resign?
Well, I will certainly look at the concerns that have been raised. I have to tell you, though, in the end of session, in the waiting days of session, there's certainly a lot of information that goes back and forth between legislators, between agencies, and information is flying fast and furious. So I will certainly take a look at the concerns that have been raised today.
Did it have to do anything with Margie's departure, with you replacing her as your energy advisor?
Margie was a very valued employee who left to take a job.
Dennis?
Housing issues, there was a committee hearing yesterday. Representative Kenny Geyer announced an omnibus bill that she wants to move in the 16th session. A lot of things came up in that hearing. $60 million more for affordable housing construction, the LIFT program. Maybe talking about removing preemptions on inclusionary zoning, rent control. Which of those items would you like to see in a housing omnibus bill in 2016?
Well, I've asked the Housing and Community Services Department to put together a group of folks, community activists. We have housing folks and experts together to come forward with recommendations. That will not happen before the 2016 session. That is one approach I'm taking. I am asking for a general fund allocation for rent relief for February of 2016, and I will certainly take a look at all of the policies that the committee is examining and certainly be open to the specifics that are moving forward.
We gotta go, folks, we're
We're done. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Holy